melting ice drops into the river, flowing past the edges of time. And I lay here counting my days. I'm looking through the clear and faded memories, thinking long about the way it all went down. And I lay here counting my days, how it just falls down. Within you, the storm before the drought. And I'm waiting now to see
You're listening to Big Blend Radio, and man, that was epic, man. That was Forbidden Planet, everybody. Incredible. I know, Nancy, you're already scoring a video, got things going.
Rock opera.
I know. Everyone, it's Big Blend Radio's Happy Hour Show with Nancy and Lisa, and you just heard keyboardist Andrew Colyer playing Forbidden Planet. It's featured on Circuline's second studio album called Counterpoint. And Andrew is here with us he's going to join us to talk about this epic spring tour. I think this is epic, with 3.2 featuring Robert Berry. And I encourage you to go to Andrew's website. It's ColyerMusic.com. That's Colyer. I just always like to prove I can spell. But welcome to the show, Andrew. How are you?
I am great, ladies. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we're excited. Now, I've got to say, is it Circuline or Circuline? Because, I want to say it both ways.
You are correct. It is Circuline, like circles and lines. But people in France and Europe tend to pronounce it Circuline. But no, it's Circuline.
Yeah, it's like a labyrinth to me. Like when I think of Circuline, that's the first thing that comes to me, to mind, is a labyrinth. So, tell me about the name of the band.
Well, it's really interesting. When you have 6 people voting on a name of a band, naming a band is a really tough thing. And we were researching and we were coming up with names. We voted on over 100 names for the band when we first formed. And, everybody's got their opinion. And I actually had a dream, and I came up with Circuloid, and I said, how about Circuloid? And then our drummer came back and he said, no, that rhymes with hemorrhoid. I can't do that one. So
I actually have to say that came up in my mind as soon as you said that too. I was like, I need a donut. The donut came up instead of the labyrinth.
Exactly. He's like, nothing with oid in it. So then actually Natalie said, well, how about Circuline? And you know what? Everybody was quiet and nobody objected and nobody hated it. So basically,
you jump on it now. Do it while everybody's quiet.
Exactly.
Naming bands.
Yeah, naming bands is hard.
That's where the fight starts.
That's where that's where everything was so cool until you decided to name the band.
Yeah.
And it to me it's actually one of the coolest creative processes. But Circuline to me, I just was like, a labyrinth, and then listening to your music, I'm like, dude, we can trip out and go anywhere with this.
I think circumference of the earth.
Yeah, exactly. You can spin and you can, find it. It's prog rock, so you can progress through. I like it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. We have, and also we had a very cool logo that our original guitar player had come up with, and we were actually a progressive rock tribute band for 5 years before we kind of transmuted into an all original band, and we had this really great iconic looking logo that was kind of Celtic meets 21st century space, whatever. And so the name Circuline kind of really matched with the logo also, so that was good.
Yeah, because that goes into ancient, Celtic art with every, when you've got all that symbolism symbolism, how they say in this country. Yeah, see, I grew up in different countries, and so I pronounce everything weird. I'll make people Dutch that they're not Dutch. I can't help it. Lived in Africa for most of my life, so it's kind of weird. But going into Celtic history, it's interesting because, and I think that's exactly it. When I was looking at Circuline, I'm like, I just visualized like a labyrinth and Celtic art. So, and I obviously
that's very cool.
Reading through, what you've done in your life, wow. And this tour, holy cow! How do you feel about this tour? So, am I getting this straight? You are picking up the album that you're working with Robert Berry and picking up the album that Keith Emerson didn't finish.
Yes. Basically, Robert Berry and Keith, I'm going to start with a little bit of history. Back in the 70s, there was Emerson, Lake, and Palmer.
Yeah.
And in the 80s, Robert Berry took Greg Lake's place in Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, playing guitar, bass, and singing and doing a lot of the songwriting. And so it was Keith Emerson and Robert Berry and Carl Palmer, and the name of that band was called Three. And they had one album titled To the Power of Three. It came out in 87 or 88. They had a top 10 Billboard hit. They did a North American tour, Everyone came home with about $500,000 in their pocket, and for various and sundry reasons, you guys know the music business, they wound up going they started work on a second album, but then they went their separate ways.
Yeah.
And so in 2015, a radio station in Boston unearthed some of the tapes from the live tour, and they got permission to put it out on compact disc, and Keith Emerson got a copy of it, and he called Robert, and he said, Robert, I just finished listening to the record. We were a really great band. So Robert was like, yeah, we were. And so so then they just said, well, maybe we should get back together and finish that second album that we never finished all those years ago. So Robert and Keith started working on a follow-up album, and they got about halfway finished with the record, and then Keith tragically passed away and in 2016, in the spring of 2016. And so it took Robert some time. I mean, he had some of his own grieving to do, and then he had to work with the record label, and he had to get permission from the Emerson estate to finish and produce the record. So the album came out. So basically, Robert finished the record playing everything himself. He played all the keyboards, the guitars, bass, drums, vocals. He finished everything, which is pretty astonishing in itself.
Yeah.
So the album came out in August, about almost 6 months ago. It went to #1 on Amazon the first day and sold out in 5 countries the first day.
Wow.
And it's had fabulous reviews. It's been in over 100, magazines, podcasts, reviews, interviews. And so Robert wants to tour the record. So I'm the guy who got called to do all the keyboard work. And I sing too, but yeah. So yeah.
That is amazing. Now, I wanted to ask, have you heard of the musician Rachel Flowers?
Oh yeah, I know Rachel. Yeah, she's on the Cruise the Edge right now. She's phenomenal, absolutely spectacular.
Because I heard what you were doing, and I'm like, she was on our show. Oh, I'm going to say pretty much about a year and a half ago, and I mean, Keith was a huge influence for her, and what she does is amazing. I mean, she's blind, and what she's able to do, I mean, it's just, I was amazed at her keyboard. I mean, her work is incredible, and so I was wondering about that because of that connection with, Keith and just, her work and yours. And you have the monster keyboards. I mean, like, seriously.
Appreciate that.
What are you playing on this tour? Like, what do you take?
First of all, let me just say Rachel Flowers is a spectacular artist. She is amazing. She's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
She's a real sweetheart. She is, Emerson is absolutely a massive influence on her. She does lots and lots of his work. So I can't say enough good things about Rachel. For this tour, one of the things that Robert did after 3 disbanded in the 80s is that he had made such a name for himself at that time that there was a record label called Magna Carta, and he did a whole series of tribute albums for Magna Carta, and he did an album for Yes, an album for Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Jethro Tull. He did 2 Rush albums. He did a Pink Floyd album, and every time he would do a tribute album, he would put his own kind of modern spin on it, so it wasn't just recreating what had been done before. So for this tour, we're doing some songs from the original 3 album in the 80s. We're doing some songs from the new 3.2 album. We're doing about half a dozen songs from Robert's catalog. So, and they're Robert's versions, which are kind of more modern versions of Yes, Roundabout. Everybody knows that song. We're doing a Genesis song called Watcher of the Skies. Jethro Tull, Minstrel in the Gallery. Robert was in Ambrosia for 2 years, so we're doing an Ambrosia song called Life Beyond L.A. We got an Emerson, Lake and Palmer 9-minute epic called Carnival 9.
How do you do all that? How do you do? I mean, when you think about everything you're talking about, where you're going to be performing, right? This is live. I mean, this is all epic stuff with so much music packed in. The timing is key. When you look, prog rock and everything, and I never even thought of all this music that I grew up with over the years being prog rock until, like, lately learning that, we have a label for this,
Right.
But we don't really we don't.
It's not your. It's just right.
It's not a label. Yeah, we're not label people. But you need to hashtag it on Twitter. You know.
Yeah,
I know
So
exactly.
That's where it comes. But when you look at this kind of music and what you're doing, it's this. It like Nancy's always like it's a rock opera. This is like this build up, and it's every note is key. The timing. It's
I'm still waiting
this,
for a rock opera.
It's like a musical perfection with it. It's like technical, but has feeling. It's got all of that, and you're going to do a entire tour and perform all of this, like all of these songs. Like seriously, how do you? I mean, do you? How do you remember? Do you like try to rehearse everything and know it off by heart, or do you? How do you even read music these days? I mean, is it on a teleprompter now? Like what's going on with this?
Well, first of all, I'm classically trained, and so my undergraduate degree was classical piano performance, and vocals and trumpet. So so I've already done Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, Chopin, Rachmaninoff, Liszt, Schubert, like all those things. So I think when the real golden age of progressive rock was 1968 to 1978, when bands like Yes, Genesis, Jethro Tull, King Crimson, Pink Floyd, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I think as the music was emerging, you're right, they didn't call it progressive rock, but their intention, I believe, was to take the kind of the majesty of classical music and merge it with kind of the harmonic sophistication of jazz. That's what Keith was really into that. And then also, but the power of rock. So, at that time, besides the Beatles, you also had the Who, and we had electric guitars and amplifiers, and you had this power of rock, but with all these other elements. And so that's really what this is about. So some of the music I already have memorized. What I will do is some of the things in this, because I'm in the preparation phase. So some of the things are music like traditional staff paper. Some of the things I have to transcribe, I have to figure it out on the record. So I just listen to it and I have to write it down on the record to learn it. And then some of it I already know. And then I also have an iPad there's a foot switch on the floor that I'll have notes on it if I need it. And then as you go through the song, you just tap the pedal on the floor, and then it turns the page on the iPad.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know they had that.
But, okay, you have to do the rock opera.
Yeah,
you are the right person.
I know. You are the person for this. We talk about this. We have a lot of prog rock musicians on the show over the years, and it's just like it's building into this thing of like this has to be like the true like the Tommy, but like this. I don't know. We need
the modern version. Well, tell me, ladies.
Yeah.
Okay, I would love to do that. What do you think would be good subject matter? Like, what's the story? Because if you're going to do a rock opera,
you could do the White House right now if you want, but don't.
Oh, well,
that's
kind of that's a tragedy. Actually, that's a debacle.
I see the White House having a whole total food fight.
Yeah, but look,
what about think about it?
Evita.
No, come on.
You could have got Evita.
They could have with really good music a food fight.
Yeah, I know, but you could.
I like that.
I think if food fight is good, but I do believe I really, to me, there is I would like to see hair go into this way, and I don't know if it would ever work because it's such a trippy hippie thing, but I would love to see I want to see something completely new now because you look at TV shows. I mean, why do we have Magnum PI return as a new thing?
I want new. Right.
I want new. And I think the classics are great when it comes
to thinking.
Rock operas and theater and stage productions. There's something because it's live that is so magical that can be done anywhere forever. Whereas TV shows and movies, stop it already. Create something new. And I, at this point, would like to see something new. I think what Hamilton has done is amazing, and I'd love to see it go with the prog rock scene and have it kind of go into that zone.
Go ahead. We call it a rock and a hard place. This is the rock opera about politics. So
I'm writing this down.
Rock.
Rock. Okay, Nancy and Lisa, are you going to help me write the story? and a hard place.
Sure. No, can't. I think something
Wouldn't
new.
Wouldn't it be fun?
Something new would be great. It would almost be like, I would like to see something uplifting out there now about what the potential is and what we could do. I'd like to see what the planet would look like without climate change. I would like to see that happen. If we could take the animals and put them, like, not the Animals, the band, though we do love Eric Burton and all of them, but you know what I mean? If we could have a voice for different animals. Okay, I'm already writing it in my head now.
I have it in my head already.
I know.
Yes, that's what, go. Yeah,
go, Nancy.
We got animals, we got the planet, we got positive.
Yeah.
I'm writing this down too.
Okay, here it is. You have Congress meets, and as they talk, there's on a split screen, right? They talk. The results of what they're talking about are visually right in your face.
Okay.
Oh. Wow. And so and then what should also be in there is to have the youth involved as like a choir or a guitarist or whatever. We need to have the youth be part of the rock opera so that they know that they can have the power of music, and so that we can make sure that music is taught. So music has to be in there. And in some part of this whole visual thing, too, because the visuals are important, is that, when Nancy talks about the White House, that we have it going from this is the reality, then we can paint the new future. Paint the future of what should be and what should be now. So we need to have the art with the movement.
Because, if people could see what would happen in the future when they vote, I want split screen. I'm into split screen.
Yeah.
So somebody goes, I think I'll vote for this person, and then all of a sudden here in the split screen is, but this could happen.
So this would be like a dual, one part of the whole opera would be a duel, basically. So we are going back to Hamilton in some ways. But you'd have this duel, right, between things, and then you could have someone coming up and saying, I'm speaking for Mother Nature, and singing for Mother Nature. And then you have the trees come up and the ocean.
It's going to be that little bluebird that Disney had that went and landed on your shoulder.
And then you have different characters. This is a massive, massive production, because then you have the farmer come out and goes, hey, I don't want Monsanto food. I want this.
Exactly.
No, so he plants the GMO corn and it kills him.
And so there's just split screen.
Oh, that's funny.
Wow, who knew that we were going to go there with you on the show today? But here it is.
No, I'm loving it. I'm loving this because the GMO corn. Well, not only does he eat the GMO corn, but it was sprayed with glyphosate before he planted it in the ground. So the other people, somebody gets to come up and represent your intestinal tract and say, "Hey,
wow, that's cool.
my gut is really unhappy because my whole belly is inflamed because I'm eating Roundup on every piece of,
we need a
and my
tuba.
Cheerios."
We need a tuba for that.
Round up your intestines because they're about to fall out your butt.
Okay, but this is the thing about prog rock is you could be the tuba. We don't need to bring the horn section in. That's what you can do.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
You're going to do the tuba for Monsanto. Like, this is what's happening to me now. And then all the fake butter out there. The fake
Where do you ladies live? Because I want to hang out with you guys more often.
We're in Tucson, Arizona, but we're about to leave because.
I want to say we knew about GMOs in the 60s. We already knew it was bad. And here we are.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's so awful.
But they moved here
that's
where
really
we are
awful.
in Tucson now. They moved here just down the road in Marana. Yeah, Monsanto. Monsanto did.
What?
And yeah, Monsanto. And they're still using their logo, and I thought they were Bayer, but now it's Monsanto logo.
It's the same company now.
Same company, and they're on the news talking about how they're really helping farmers and everyone eat healthy, and I just wanted to puke. They're down the road, and I'm glad we're leaving because of that. Because we're leaving. We're leaving in just over a month. The first day of spring, we're going on our tour. Nancy and I are going on a tour. Ours is
tell me about your
never-ending.
tour.
We're going on a full-time tour. It's phase 2. We did 3 years on the road full-time, then came back home to go and just produce and work. And now we're going back on the road again, and it's all about documenting every park in America. The first tour was let's do all the national park units. There's over 400 of them. Now we're doing every park and public land because every single one, whether it's community park, state park, all of it is important. So now we're going on the road full-time, and we really don't want to have to come back home and produce and everything because the Internet was bad and everything when we were trying and doing what we were doing. and we launched our digital magazines, whatever, all that stuff. But we're going. This is it. This is it. Thelma and Louising it, but we're not going to go off the Grand Canyon. So
yeah, please
that's
don't
what
do
we're
that.
Doing.
No,
but we will come see you in New York. We'll
For
go.
sure.
We'll go hang out in a
Please
park with
do.
you in New York. So now, what's this?
I
You
was
hang
a
out
Boy
in
Scout.
Woodstock.
I was a Boy Scout. I was a Boy Scout for 6 years, and I have a real affinity for nature and all that kind of stuff. And I live about 20 to 30 minutes from Woodstock. I'm across the Hudson with the Woodstocks. Woodstock's on the west side of the Hudson, and I'm just on the east side of the Hudson, just over the bridge.
Wow.
So yeah, so you guys get up here, call me.
What got you started in music and keyboards and like the whole? Nancy and I both used to teach people how to play organs and stuff, musical organs.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but now it's like, I mean, that was just when we got back to this country, and we both, Nancy's a keyboardist, but like you have the epic like thing going on. I mean, it feels like are you moving like a really big kit around on this tour? But I want to go back to where you started first. Like, where did it start?
You know what?
Got 10
started
questions
playing
in
the.
one.
That's okay. I started playing the piano when I was 3 years old because my mom taught me how to read. By the time I was 3, and she found a teacher who would teach me because I could read already.
Awesome.
And so growing up, I always loved. I grew up. My parents listened to a lot of movie soundtracks, and for a long time I wanted to be a film composer. But I was also listening. I was doing my classical thing, and I was also listening to Casey Kasem's Top 40. Up next, a band.
Yeah.
So it was Top 40. So I was listening to Top 40, and I was listening to movie stuff, and I was doing the classical thing, and I started singing in public. I think when I was maybe 9 or 10, doing recitals at a young age, and I started playing trumpet in the 6th grade. So I was always doing all these different things, but I could never figure out how to put it together. So even in my 20s, the bands I was in were always like your regular rock, pop, bands. And I did some original stuff, but it was I was trying to figure out a way to integrate classical and rock and jazz and anything, like every possible, permutation of music. And I came to this music really late in life, I would say, only about 15 years ago in 2004, which wasn't really that long ago, but it sounds like it's a long time ago. A friend of mine who's a guitar player, he was kind of a new friend of mine, and he said, hey, he's like, you're classically trained and you do all this stuff. He said, you should be playing Prog. And I go, and I was a DJ for 4 years, by the way, in the 90s also.
Oh, wow.
So I felt like I had a pretty good vocabulary of music, but I was just missing this kind of whole decade from the 60s up until the late 70s, because that's where my stuff kind of started, was late 70s. So he said, you'd be playing Prog. And I go, Prog, what's that? And he goes, progressive rock. And I said, I've never heard of that. I don't know what you're talking about. What is that? He goes, Yes. And I said, oh, Owner of a Lonely Heart. And he goes, no. Because that was the 80s.
Run around.
And he goes, like Genesis. And I was like, oh, like Invisible Touch. He's like, no. And he goes, like Peter Gabriel. And I'm like, Peter Gabriel was never in Genesis, because I just didn't know. I only knew Peter Gabriel as his solo career. So he came back a week later, and he handed me the Yes Symphonic Live DVD that had come out in about 2001 or 2. And I went home and I put it on, and it was Yes performing with a huge symphony orchestra.
Wow.
And I put it on, and I just freaked out. And I started literally running around the house, like running up and down the hallway, running around in the living room, going, this is how it should be. Because they had rock, they had pop, they had vocals, they had songs, they had the symphony, they had everything.
See, you and Nancy are the same ilk of this.
See, it's rock. It's rock opera.
But not
it is rock opera. You're right.
Like when you say rock opera, I just think of Rock Lobster with the B-52s. I want to have them sing.
But they can have a part in there.
They should.
Sure.
They should, because in a weird way they're kind of, but they're not. But they are.
But it's like taking opera and making it more fun.
I like opera, like the whole thing.
Well,
but
no, but because we've done that. But
we haven't done that.
Well, no, we've watched
we have not.
them. And
we do not sing opera.
I'd be like sitting in the seat going, could you pick up the beat a little? No, so rock opera to me is where you take what's modern,
it's epic,
and you
right.
and you put it on stage with singers and costumes and the stage set, and
it just becomes this really epic thing.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, very cool. And I know what you mean about it. What you're talking about running around the house, we call it spinnies.
Yeah,
Dogs do it. People
too.
do it too. You know, you're sick with the flu, and all of a sudden you're better. First thing you do, you start running around the house like crazy.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Do. We call it
spinny. It's spinnies.
This
is the other thing you talk about the trumpet. I was reading that on your website that you play the trumpet too, and a lot of times you hear about keyboards, piano, and then guitar will be connected. But with you, it was a trumpet. That's interesting. Do you still play?
I played for 10 years, and I was pretty good. I was pretty good. I wasn't great, but I was good. But, you can just only keep up with so many things. I don't play my horn anymore. Now I just play sampled trumpets on my keyboards. I've got an entire orchestra in my computer, and I just play it that way. I really do miss playing my horn, but there's just only so many hours in the day. So it's keyboards and singing and all the other things. I've thought about trying to get my horn out. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I've thought about getting it out and trying to play, because I thought, well, I could hold the trumpet and play with my right hand, then I could play my keyboards with my left hand. But it's just like one more thing to do. I'd have to get my chops in shape again, and it's just too much.
But what about going on tour when? I mean, to me, it would be stressful with what you're embarking on. Like, I know where we're at. We're about to embark on this crazy tour, and it's a lifelong tour, and it's crazy. And then there's like decisions to be made. There's like, can we make it happen? And then things start to lock in, and you see like, oh my gosh, reality is hitting us in the face, and it's happening, and it does take this life on its own. How do you feel going out, and when you do these tours, how do you keep a balance? Because it's leaving home and normal things, and then all of a sudden you're on the road, you're traveling with other musicians, and you're in different places every night. Then you have good food, bad food. Anything can take you down if you're not aware. How do you maintain touring and your health? I know you're into health.
Yes. I try to regulate as many things as I possibly can. So number one, water. I try to drink close to a gallon of water a day just from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. I drink a lot of water. Number two, I take a ton of supplements. Number three, I always carry snacks, and I try to have a snack because you never know what you're going to get with food-wise. So I try to have really healthy snacks so I can have something to snack on every 2 or 3 hours so I don't get hypoglycemic. I'm kind of the food patrol guy, because the problem is I'm kind of sensitive, but a lot of people are not, and so they just won't eat all day because their rhythm is off. And then next thing you know, they're going on stage, or it's 4 o'clock and they didn't eat, and then they're about to pass out. So I'm kind of everybody calls me dad, right? So I'm like, hey, it's been 4 hours, everybody. Everybody needs to eat something. We need to snack. We got to stop. We have to go through a drive-through. We try to regulate food and water and sleep. Just try to get as much sleep as you possibly can, at least 6 hours a night. And if not, then you try to sleep on a bus or, in a van, or you take a nap. And the most important thing is just food, sleep, water, supplements, and then exercise. I try to exercise when possible. So it's usually in the morning before we have to get back on the bus to go somewhere, or get on a plane to go somewhere, or once we arrive somewhere. If you've got a chunk of time, I'll maybe go for a short run. I have a bunch of different training things that I'll do. There's, there's burpees, there's, anything, jumping jacks, even just taking a walk around the block after sitting.
That's what we do. We walk
just
everywhere
walking,
we go.
Just anything.
Do you tell yourself, like, now when you get off the bus and you're going to go into public, like, okay, be happy face.
Yeah, you're ready for people. Like when you're in creative mode, like switching from creative mode to people mode. Nancy and I battle with that. We're all of a sudden like talking to people, and then we don't even know how to look. It's like what we've had our head like totally in. Like if we're in production with magazine and everything that we do, there's that you're talking to someone, you're like, I don't even know how to look at your face. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's weird.
You know what? It's like showtime. It's just showtime. It's part of the. Here's the thing: if you're fortunate enough to be able to be doing something like this for a living, that's just part of the. It's part of the job. To me, the thing is, that's why the self-care is so crucial. It's because when somebody comes up to you that you don't know, you've never seen before, and they start talking to you, and they know all this stuff about you, and you don't know, it is an unusual circumstance than what one encounters in daily life. Then your job is to be nice and cordial and graceful, and if you're on a tight schedule, you just say, hey, listen, you know what? Thank you so much. I would love to talk to you more, but we have a thing we have to get to, and you just try to gracefully move along.
And it's so interesting talking with you about self-care and, being healthy and how do you stay, focused and on it on a tour. And back in the day, everybody was like shooting up and, Coke and whatever. It's changed. Like majority, you're on a happy hour show. I'm going to ask you the happy hour question. And, majority of the time, it's the musicians come on and they're like, we don't even drink wine anymore. We don't even, it's like, that's all like it's gone. It's changed. And we're drinking smoothies and wheatgrass on the road.
Right.
How did they do that in the 60s? I mean, seriously.
They didn't stay around that long.
That's right. First of all, people died young, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, they were young. When you're in your teens and 20s, your body, you've got a lot of life force. Your body can put up with a lot of abuse in your teens and 20s. But you get people, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, people, they just don't tend to not do that. It's just it's a different lifestyle.
When you get up in the morning, your body goes, nah.
No, I'm still here. You should just be happy to be there.
It's like, okay, you're awake now. You could maybe steal another 15 minutes. No, you're going to
wiggle your toes.
You're going to get on a hike. So, one leg over the side of the.
Oh, my gosh. You sound like a tortoise.
We got to stretch. Stretching is key. I do a lot of stretching. I've got a whole kind of this Qigong martial arts stretching routine that I'll do.
Cool.
That's
good stuff because it's breathing too, man. And breathing is cool. I think that's the most important thing for people in life is knowing to breathe. And you sing, so you've got that part of it too. When I stopped, we had a band back in the day, way back in the day, and I'm more of a blues rock singer and songwriter, and Nancy did keyboard, and it was just a crazy time. And then we knew like this is not going to go in places we needed to go because the drummer's being arrested, the guitarist turned out to be a racist. So, seriously, crazy stuff.
I know.
And we're like,
I know.
Well, right? It gets crazy, and you have to protect yourself on my health has to be here, and there's this breathing thing.
And the people who came to listen to our band were our clients from the magazine and their friends, and then things would not happen the way we wanted them to happen.
No, but the breathing part, I realized how healthy I was just from singing, and when I stopped doing that, my body changed. Like there was a physical change of respiratory, I have respiratory things in my family and everything, and I dealt with it as a kid, and then going into this, singing, all of a sudden everything was strong and powerful. And, that's what I like about going on the tour because I can sing in the car and not wake everyone up.
Oh, gosh, there's a power about that part.
I know, Nancy. There's a powerful thing about singing, and I think music is meditational, like you're in this focus zone, and it's very cool. And with what you're doing, you are in this zone of being able to connect with, your band members and produce this. I do want to ask, and I know we haven't gotten to this part, but what are you taking on the road to play on? What instrument? Is it Yamaha or something different?
Well, the majority of the sounds are going to be coming out of, I have a computer, a MacBook Pro with 4 terabytes of solid-state hard drives. So most of the sounds are now coming out of a computer these days. So instead of, even though I would love to have 20 keyboards like Rick Wakeman or Jeff Downs on stage, basically what I have now is I have a big controller keyboard that is going to be, it's either a Studio Logic or an Arturia or a Roland or a Yamaha. That will be provided. And then the top keyboard is always a Korg Chrono. So the bottom keyboard is 88 keys, weighted action, because it needs to feel like a real piano.
Right.
And then the top keyboard has more synthesizer organ action. It's a lighter action, and it's usually a smaller one. And that's I prefer Korg Chronos because I have an endorsement with them. And then there's another very cool thing that you guys may or may not know about, and it's called the Roly Seaboard. And it's black, and the keyboard is made of this kind of neoprene rubber. And so you can slide your fingers up and down like a guitar. You can have vibrato, and you can slide back and forth. It's one of the coolest things. It's only been around a few years. So that is on a stand that's facing the audience, so that when I'm playing, you can see my fingers. It's on an angle, say a 45-degree angle. Yeah, so you can slide up and down and do vibrato and slide your finger around. It's very cool, just like a guitarist would. So it's very, very expressive. And then recently it's been added to the set list is I have to get some kind of a shoulder keytar. You can't say strap-on because people get weird about that. But
it's a strap-on on the happy hour show, everybody.
Strap-on with the keyboard. You're right. That's right. But Robert wants us to be able to go out into the audience and walk around up and down the aisles and interact with the crowd as a really cool, fun moment.
Oh my God!
Okay, wait. You're going to do that with your strap-on?
Yeah, he's got a strap on.
Yeah, exactly. See, I knew I shouldn't have said strap-on.
I know you can. It's happy hour, and it's Nancy and Lisa. You're going to get nailed on it. It's just happening.
I love you guys. So,
but you're going to snap,
gets
whatever.
Even better, doesn't it?
You've got a thing that you're gonna attach and go
keyboard.
into the audience with.
It's the wireless keyboard that we're going to strap on my shoulder.
It's better than a dangling participle.
That's right. So we're going to watch. I can't wait to meet you two in person. I'm serious.
This is crazy. But I want to see that. I have seen.
Okay.
We watch like a lot of live videos, and to me, like the one thing I love about YouTube is that you can see things that you never saw or you didn't get to that concert. But I want to encourage people to go to the concert. What is the best place for people to know about? Where the concert is coming, where your tour is going.
For sure. Right now we have about 2 weeks. She's still laughing about the strap-on.
I know. She's stuck in
the keyboard.
Get your head out of the gutter, Nancy.
No, I have this vision.
That's my mother.
Hey, you know what? Do you have a character in the rock opera for that yet?
I know.
We have to. We do. We have Hot Mama Babushka.
Yeah, and you.
All right.
She pops
I'm
up
writing
that.
I'm writing this down. Strap on Hot Mama Babushka.
Yes.
You walk into the audience with your strap on.
That's it. I know, but that's it. But it has to be. But see, now I'm thinking of politics. Anyway, no. I don't
exactly.
Really
now you're thinking of
You're
thinking
of
Russian.
Go into audience with strap on.
Yeah. You're thinking of Russian videotapes.
You must get permit. You must go to. Very often you must go to government agency and you must say, I want permit for strap-on walk-on.
Okay. Mama Babushka, thank you for joining us. She just pops out whenever she wants to, just like a strap-on. Anyway.
I love it.
I'm going back to this. Where can people know about the tour?
Okay, so first of all,
we're going to play Summit, and I don't want to run out of time.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So here's the thing. First of all, we've got about 2 weeks on the East Coast. Our manager, Norman Bedford, is booking more dates all the time. We've got 2 weeks in October for sure that's on the East Coast. We've got about a week of dates on the West Coast that are coming this summer. We may be playing at a festival in May, but I don't know yet. So for sure, there's a really awesome festival called Prog, and that is the weekend of October 11, 12, 13th. That's Columbus Day weekend. That's in New Jersey, but we're also going to be in New York City at the Iridium. We're going to be on Long Island at a place called My Father's Place. We're going to be in New Hampshire October 5th and 6th. We're probably going to be in Baltimore. We've got a whole bunch of dates. The summer dates aren't posted yet, and the May thing I can't say because we don't know yet. So I feel like I'm being kind of vague and cryptic,
but audience and people must duck.
Oh, she's in that mode. So if everybody goes to ColyerMusic.com, is that a good place?
If you go to CollyerMusic.com, yes, we will have live dates posted there. Also
and you have Facebook and Twitter,
Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all the usual suspects.
Yeah. Now, what song are you looking forward to playing the most? Do you know yet, or should I even ask that? Is that rude?
You can ask that question. I don't know yet,
but I'm not going to answer it.
It's over. I can't. Yeah, I don't have an answer because it's over 90 minutes of music, and I'm still putting everything together. So I don't know. That's a great question. I haven't thought about that. The one that has the most amount of attention right now is Carnival 9 because this is this epic 9-minute. It's awesome and ridiculous is all I can say. It's just nonstop epicness. But you know what? But I don't sing on that one. And I have to say, you guys were talking about singing and breathing, and I really love singing. So I would say the Yes Roundabout tune is great. The Ambrosia tune, Life Beyond LA, is great.
Roundabout. That is so epic.
Cool.
When
it's great.
when I lived in the Panhandle for a while, and it was Melbourne actually, with Stefan.
I know where that
Stefan
is.
Weissmuller. Stefan toured the world, went to like 30 countries or something years ago, and this was back in the early 90s, mid 90s when we got back to this country, and we were teaching organ music to retirees and in Florida. And anyway, the story and the manager that. It was interesting. There's a whole other thing, and I won't get into it, but it was interesting.
Okay.
You must
but my boss, Stefan Weissmuller, he is epic. And coming from South Africa at this time, I was starting to learn all these different things, and we had so much of a British distribution of music. Got over here, and at one point, just before I was moving to the Panhandle to do a thing out there, and I stayed at his house for a few nights with him and his wife, and he was playing. I mean, just to hear him play was awesome, but it was more like big band and everything, which I loved. That gig taught me big band music, which I still to this day to me, swing, old jazz, and blues. That's part of all of it. And but then when he started, he got in. We would sit and watch Monty Python stuff, and then he would play Yes. It was like a crazy house. Happy house, very happy in all kinds of ways. And then he would just bust out this, and he had this old Roland. It was back when it was an electric piano, so it had that feel.
Cool.
So you could touch down and have that.
Keyed into
yeah,
it.
and I looked at Yes in a different way when I could see someone perform, and that's what I think is so cool. Prog rock, I believe there's this experience where you're not just listening, but you should be in it. You need to watch it as well because there's something different. And I think that's what's so awesome about this tour that you're doing. And so I'm glad to hear it's going all the way to fall and everything for people. Cool. That's awesome. And because when he was playing that, he gave me this whole other appreciation of Yes that I didn't have at that time. Just to sit and see it and understand how, my gosh, that's awesome. That's awesome stuff. You're going to play Roundabout. It's like
well, and the thing is also people like to hear things that they know. Even if you go and you're knocking your socks off with all this amazing stuff, people like to hear the hits. They want to
hear
something right. Yeah.
You want that. You want that.
That's because they're tied to a certain point in your life.
They're tied to something.
Right.
Is it Runabout or Runaround? Now I've got my brains went out the window because I got all like.
You know what? Long Distance Runaround is a Yes song.
There it is.
But then, we're not doing it. But we're doing Roundabout.
Okay. Now, before you go, we have to play Happy Hour. Are you ready? Because it's fun. Okay, so the happy hour game is that you are going to go on a happy hour anywhere in the world, so we want to know where. And we want to know what you're drinking, whatever. wiggy in it. We say wiggy. Happy hour could be wine or whatever, or not. It could be juice. It could be weed beer like John Thursday. Who knows? Oh. And because he's vegan and he doesn't drink now, but now he's into weed beer, so who knows?
Yeah, hello.
And then you get to invite 3 people to happy hour that you want to sit and hang out with and have a good conversation, and it could be someone alive or passed on or fictional. So who are you inviting? But let's start with where.
Okay, so first of all, I'm thinking like Fiji or Thailand.
Ooh, nice.
Somewhere in the Pacific, warm. I want beach. I want sunshine.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, blue waters.
Ooh.
Okay, and I'm going to have a Long Island iced tea.
Cool.
Because it's my favorite drink in the world. I hardly drink much anymore, but if I'm going to drink, I want one good one. So
you're just going to make up for the whole year.
I haven't had a Long Island iced tea for like 20 years, but I'll do it.
The whole year in one drink.
Yeah,
oh my God, they're so good. They taste great. You only need one. There you go.
I learned about that when we landed in this country. I didn't know about them until I got here, and it's the first thing in Florida. They're like, have a Long Island iced tea, and I'm like, okay, but we're in Florida, and they're like, just drink it.
Yeah.
And then I did shut up. It's hard to make me shut up. So, okay, Long Island iced tea.
Vodka, rum, tequila, triple sec, and gin in a splash of cup. There you go. That's all you need.
It's awesome.
Okay.
Yikes.
Okay, you two get to. Okay, if I have to invite like 3 regular. Okay, first of all, you 2 have to come because you've already set the thing up, but you don't count as there's 3 regular people. So.
Okay.
You 2, I want you 2 there because you guys are just regular. Too much fun. No, but I mean, come 3 people. Okay, so I would have to invite my girlfriend Natalie Brown, but she's going to be with you guys off. Like we're like the 5. Let's see, you 2 of you, me and Natalie.
We're the party,
but
we're like the help, not the help, but we're like the party, and then who are the 3 special guests?
We're the regulars.
The 3 famous people.
Yeah. We're the cheers. Okay.
Okay. I have to. He won't leave my mind, so I have to say Steve Jobs.
Oh wow, that would be a trip. Yeah. I'm in.
Because he was so creative, and he was so entrepreneurial, and he was so controversial.
And he was an immigrant, everybody. Oopsie, sorry.
He was. I did not know that. Was that making a joke? I'm sorry.
That's really funny.
Was he really? No. Was he? Am I being dense here? Was that a joke?
His family. His family. He's an immigrant family. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Okay, just so you know, every person in the United States except for Native Americans are immigrant families.
Yes,
I got it. Thank you.
His family, his dad is from Syria.
Wow.
I did not know that. Okay.
So
thank you for repeating.
Thank
you for repeating that for the comedy impaired. I am over here. So
okay.
So Steve Jobs. Actually, in this moment, I would have to say Keith Emerson because I'm so immersed in his world. His autobiography is out of print, and you can only get it for like $120. I had to buy it on Amazon or eBay for like it was over $100 that book, and I would say Keith Emerson. And you know what? Let's pick a historical. I kind of want a historical more figure for the third one. I'm glad this is like Jeopardy with clock running.
Isn't cool?
Let's see.
But you don't get a washer and dryer behind the curtain.
No, or a boat.
I started
but
to
we
say
want to go
Thomas
to Thailand,
Jefferson,
so
but
let's get in the boat. Like we'll go in the boat.
Funny, I started to say Thomas Jefferson, but I think I want somebody from Europe or Africa or Asia. Oh man, that's a tough one.
Thomas Jefferson would be interesting.
Oh, here, I tell you what. How about Winston Churchill?
Dude, well, that's an interesting pick.
Cool.
Then can we have the other dude that hung out with him? What's his name? With the other president that sat and got hammered with him all the time.
FDR? Franklin Delano Roosevelt?
Yeah. Put them in there together. Because they got drunk and made things happen together. Yeah.
Let's do FDR and FDR.
Yeah. They were hammered. Churchill is like crazy, and there's some good things and bad things. It's just a blend, man.
He's a person.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. I always feel like I always wanted to put Churchill and Maggie Thatcher in the same room and see what happens.
Oh my God, that is awesome! I love that idea.
Wouldn't that be crazy? That would be crazy.
And you know what?
All right, we gotta go.
For bonus round, I want Michael Jordan.
Oh, Michael Jordan can go. Oh, just bring him. He can get on the. We're gonna go on a boat because we're gonna go island hopping. So we're gonna go with all of them. But we got to go because we're gonna play Summit. And everyone, go to ColyerMusic.com. COLYER. ColyerMusic.com. He's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Go keep up with him. YouTube. And hey, bon voyage on your tour, and have a good time. And we'll see you when we get to New York.
Thank you so much, ladies. It's been awesome. I can't wait to see you when you guys get in town.
Yeah, man. Cool. Good times for sure. Awesome music. Great conversation. Here it is, everyone, Summit. And you want to give everyone the website for the band?
It's circulinemusic.com, CIRCULINE, just like it sounds, circulinemusic.com. And Summit, I'm singing lead on this one, and I hope everybody likes it. Thank you so much, ladies.
It's awesome. It is awesome. Thank you. And everyone will be back on Friday, February 8th for our Food, Wine, Travel show. We're going to the Bahamas, by the way, talking about boats.
For mamas.
Yeah, we're going to the Bahamas for Bahama Mamas. Then we're going to Silver City, New Mexico for an art tour, and to Springfield, Kentucky for the Bourbon Trail. So that's what's happening on Friday's show. I know.
I think we should just get our instruments and follow you guys around. You guys are having
we're about
fun.
to do that. We're thinking of a park music thing. It seems to be a growing thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Everyone keep up with us at BigBlendRadio.com. Thanks, everyone. Here it is, Summit. Thanks so much for joining us, Andrew. It's been a blast.
Yes, awesome.
Thank you, ladies.
and half speed.